as we moving forward, and then I see that we have a very active group tonight. Thank you so much for participating into answering the questions. So we want to hear from you, of course, seeing your chat, and later on, if you can speak up, that is excellent. So just raise a hand. But first question here for me is, what is a field school? I know that you've done some research, but I want to see you typing in your chat box and let me know what you think a field school is and what do you foresee yourself in going into this summer. You think a field school is? Do I see some movements and chatting, typing there in the chat box? I'm looking forward to reading your answers here. What is a field school to you? Are you thinking of a field school probably having only 5 people? Maybe 50 people? Maybe field school that is some, a full-time study? Ah, very good, coming in, many study, very good. Thank you so much. Short-term exchange program. Oh, exchange, that is a good word. But that's a different perspective of study abroad. Opportunity to study the topic international related to your degree and interest. Yes, very good. And then can you guess how big the size could be? How long the study will be? Will it be only you, the students from SFU who are joining? Yeah, excursion aboard to apply course materials. Yeah, semester or a year. Wow. 5 to 15 people, 1 month. Yeah, very precisely. Let's look at that. That's good answers. Look at that. You've covered a lot of these, and we are looking at a field school that is short term, not as long as a year, not as long as a whole semester, but it can last from even 1 week, because there is a program coming up that is a little bit longer than 1 week. Thank you very much. And I see your answers coming in too. From 2 weeks to 2 months abroad. And then that is a faculty-led program. So you will be closely working with a designated SFU faculty member throughout the whole field school experience. And then through these field school, you will have credits from SFU. So you will have 3 credits from a part-time field school program, and all the way up to 13 credits from a full-time field school program. It is a study abroad tour, so you can study as well as, you can do a little bit of tourism at the same time. I'm sure that you won't miss that part during the whole field school. It is an off-campus delivery because you will be doing this field school abroad. And then we are keeping our fingers crossed, because we do want that this is going to happen. We know that there, the whole global environment related to the COVID, but we will talk about that very soon. So I know that some of you that touched a really great point of the coursework, assignments, materials. Yes, so that is a whole combination of the field school that you are going to sign up for. And then next, benefits of field school. Anyone have any quick answers before I show the next slide? Benefits. Benefits, because we are talking about meeting with people, so meeting, and we are talking about really in the field and learning. So that means, yeah, any answers? Yeah, new connections. To the point. Yeah, again, international academic experience, really good international experience, new knowledge. Yes, excellent. Yeah. Hands-on, that's very good. Yeah, outside of the classroom, working with professors. Yeah, you've got us. Exactly, networking. So I know that networking is a huge deal right now, because you want to move around, you want to grow your knowledge with this huge network. You are really joining this field school that you can grow your network around the globe. It's just not within the SFU, not within Canada, it is around the globe. So also you are not just knowing some more students, you are also working with professionals, right, in the field, in the industry. So that is networking. What it means, you will keep this networking and keep it growing. The next one we're looking at is the experiential learning. I know that some of you are talking about learning, studying, and working at the same time. Yes, that is the whole idea. So it's a global experiential learning. And then you work with a team, that led by the faculty member. This very good knowledge that you are going to learn, and you will learn from the industry experts from the fields, and also engage in simulations, and also from the real daily work. So you are actually working and put yourself into a real work environment, and in a very safe and directed way. So you are actually gaining this experiential learning and putting it back into the classroom at the time that you're using it. That's good. And also, you will be developing your global competencies, which really will help you to grow in the future career. So this is also something that our employers are looking for their future employees to have in these whole coming 5 to 10 years. So by participating in the field schools, this is something that you will really gain your whole global perspectives, understanding intercultural communication skills, problem solving skills, how to work with people, etc. Last but not least, creating more opportunities for yourself. By joining this field school, that means you are taking a big step, enabling yourself to go out of the door of Canada and also open it up to the whole world. That means you have more chances engaging into more global opportunities when it comes up. So think about taking more field schools in the future, doing exchange programs like someone mentioned. If you are very familiar with exchange, study abroad idea already, yeah, this is a short-term program. But if you're looking at doing yourself, longer exchange could be something that you will be looking at later on, or a short-term summer program. So really, it opens up a lot of opportunities. So far, let's see, we have almost 9 programs. What we have right now, we have Indonesia. I know that if you have already read through our website, these programs are not new to you. And also you will be noticing on the slide here, the Italian design program is already closed because it's awful. We can only take these many students. So if you want to have your spot early, please read through the application and submit your application as soon as possible. Then we will start screening very soon. There is one program, Prague program. It is coming very soon. It is under the very final approval process. So stay tuned, check back on our website, and there is one program. It is for the BD students only. So it is a finance. That one is also in the final process for being approved. Okay, wow, I'm going to talk about something that is more serious and more concerning to probably a lot of you, because you are thinking, yeah, I want to do it, but how can I do it safely under such a global environment with a COVID impact, with this global pandemic that's going on? So we are optimistic about summer 2022 field school for being able to proceed in person meaning that you are able to still be there in field and to complete the whole field school program. However, it is important to recognize that there is still much uncertainty right now, and we will walk you through some of these current considerations. How do you make plans and what resources are available for you for now when you're applying, and then when you are admitted into the field school program, to make sure that you understand what program that you are signing up for. And also it will be very helpful for your families or your close friends to know what you are up to. So considerations in the context of the evolving COVID-19 global pandemic, and there are important considerations to be aware of and prepare for when planning for a field school in summer 2022. It is important to be aware that international travel and living abroad continues to be more complex and unpredictable during the pandemic. And all SFU study abroad programs must comply with SFU interim university-related international travel policy. And this policy is directly informed by Global Affairs Canada. Maybe a lot of you are very familiar with this name right now, Global Affairs Canada, because that is the it's the government who issues the country's travel advisories. There are 4 levels here, as you see, 2 greens and 2 red. SFU will not and does not permit university-related student travel when the advisory for a location is at level 3 or 4, meaning the red zones that you are seeing. And currently, Global Affairs Canada has in place a level 3 advisories for the whole world. That's for Canada to issue it. Don't travel, no essential travel to anywhere in the world. And this advisory has been in place since March 2020 and was briefly lifted for 2 months this fall between October 21st to December 15th. And it will be re-evaluated in the coming days on January 16th. So any beyond advisory and compliances to SFU's policy, all program and transit locations must also be appropriate for hosting a field school. So we're just not looking at these levels, but also SFU, your field school director, and we ISS office will closely looking into, is it appropriate to host a field school over there? That means travel to an entry to this location must be possible. And then also that our program partners and providers there are able to support the program and then support you while you're there. So you will be, as a participant, you'll be responsible for researching and making corresponding arrangements for your field school program. So consider that factors such as international travel restrictions, border entry requirements, and immigration documents, insurance, because there are some delay for some country if you need to get a visa to go into. Flight paths, there could be no longer any direct flights, you have to fly through the stops, but then is there any restrictions for those stops that you need to go through? Any requirements, any text, right, and report that they want to see, quarantine requirements, vaccine requirements, even public health protocols continue to change frequently without notice. So including all those that would apply when you return to Canada or to your home country. So it's a lot to consider when we are together working through this field school planning. So it's not only the location you're going to, and also to consider when you come back and how can you do that. And as a view of field school planning, we, and your field school directors are doing a number of things to plan for the uncertainty, as I just mentioned. And all programs have contingency plans. So contingency plans that would be invoked in the event that they are not able to run abroad as planned. So for example, you are originally going to 5 locations, then contingency plan could be, let's reduce the locations just to be safer. So that is reduced size. Or you could do, originally you are going in, but now let's do it virtually, right? So that is the change of plan. And these are the so these the contingency plans are posted on the program page for each program. So while you are applying and reading through the program, please read through this. And in some cases, programs would move to, as I said, the local or online delivery. And in some cases, they would have to be canceled completely. It really depends on how closely that these programs relied on using the local supports and local environment and context to complete your field school. So carefully read through each program page to learn all these information. And then knowing your program's contingency plan in advance will help to support your academic planning, of course. And besides the contingency plan, all programs will have a full risk assessment and plan, and which will be updated as conditions change. So this is the job that will be done by your field school directors. And though it is important to know that due to the changing travel and health conditions of the pandemic, it is not possible to anticipate all risks that may arise, but it's very good practice for us to foresee and then to plan. And SFU is also monitoring the situation and will review each field school at 2 points to determine how to proceed. The first review will be after the application deadline. So that means to you is after the Jan 31st deadline, but before we can issue an offer to accept you into the program. So we want to be very cautious, make sure that yes, you are committed to something that is going to continue. And then the second point is at least 1 month before you leave, so before the program's departure. And there is a specific date listed on each program page. And that's when you would expect another update from us or from your field school director together to know that yes, your program is for sure going into what direction. And by that point, you will know for sure. And conditions can always change, and decisions might also be made outside these 2 points as well that we have to admit, yes. So we are trying to do all that we can. So as a whole university, we're planning these programs thoroughly and through. However, we recognize that if things change right away without any notice, of course, then we will have to adapt and then to act fast, quickly, and reach out to you, and let's plan together and move forward. Safety abroad. So safety is absolutely paramount on SFU study abroad programs. And here are a few supports that would be in place for your program. And you can see more details on the program web pages listing at the bottom here, and both of which are easy to find from the main SFU study abroad website. And all field school participants are required to complete the Field School 101 pre-departure program and delivered online. So it's on Canvas. For those who are at SFU already, you are very familiar with this platform. And this program covers safety-related topics such as personal safety, risk assessment, travel preparation, travel health, health insurance, and emergency support and context. And all field school participants are automatically enrolled into SFU travel safety program. And these includes the enrollments in SFU travel registry. So we will do this for you. And access to international SOS. So we call it ISOS. So ISOS is a resource that provides SFU travelers with 24/7 medical security, logistical expertise before, during, and after your program. And you can contact ISOS for any health, travel, security questions, personal safety concerns, or for routine advice, emotional support services, or even emergency assistance when you need it. So these will be the tools that you will be using while you're abroad. And ISS, our office, provides you administrative support before, during, and after your field school, so which include but not limited to advising on program selection, program application, providing Field School 101 course, the pre-departure program, and surveys, support while you are returning to campus. And then we strongly advise you to read through these two websites periodically to check for update safety abroad webpage and COVID and study abroad webpage for updates. So things to do while applying. So these are something that we strongly want you to do, suggest you to do, and be sure to do. Be sure to read all of these program information and documents very carefully. And these are fully, these documents fully outline the terms of your program. So these will include your program webpage, which I talked about, and that will also introduce to you to the contingency plan and important dates. The field school acknowledgement, the field school waiver, refund policy, and COVID and study abroad webpage. So by reading through this, and you will have a way better idea of what program you are going to sign up for. So while it is always wise to speak with your academic advisor about your plans, you should also have a backup plan in place. And then depending on your program's contingency plan. So definitely to think about a set of backup courses for summer 2022, just in case, you know, so this is our advice. And also the things to do that continues on, because we want you to check a lot of checkboxes to make sure that you are safe and you are signing up for a great program. So make a budget plan for your field school, which should include also covering the contingency needs. For example, if there is any need for self-isolation. So that's why insurance would kick in. If you have a really good insurance that cover your COVID, you know, medical needs, and that is great that you don't have to really, you know, put a big bulk of money out there for the self-isolation. Nobody wants it, but just in case. And then for COVID testing, for example, you want some extra money there, and then get a taxi to the ER just in case, right? So this is for the contingency needs. And also consider the risk and uncertainty. Do not purchase flights or make any non-refundable arrangements at this time. While you are checking, while you're looking, you are getting excited. There could be cheap flights offering, you know, want to get you to sign up for, want you to purchase. Don't move until we tell you so to later on. So while you are applying, reading, all this waiting, don't do any purchase. And consider the risk, as I said, that it's not wise to move forward with purchase. So That is our strongest advice to you. And now you can start looking into your medical and travel health insurance coverage and assessing your needs. And you need to read the really fine print to know exactly what is and isn't covered. Sometimes you need to really read between lines in order to figure it out. Have questions, call the insurance company and ask questions. And they need to answer all of your questions and make you fully understand what you are going to purchase. And then you should also start researching all aspects of your program locations, including COVID-related considerations. And these will include travel restrictions, any entry requirements. For those who just finished your travel, international travel that you are very familiar with going out and coming back, right? The entry requirements and public health protocols. And while these things are likely to change between now and your program, because there is still a few months in between, it is good to monitor what is going on so that you know where to look for when the time comes to, and you can have access to the information quickly. And this is particularly the case if you are not a Canadian citizen and may have different travel and entry considerations. So both Global Affairs Canada and International SOS are great resources for you for this research. And also you'll be responsible for this research and make corresponding arrangements for your field school program as well. Your field school directors will take care of, for example, accommodations and then your itineraries. But sometimes if you want to just step away during the weekend or after the field school, you would have another trip around the area. This is your own responsibility to make all the arrangements. So that is what I was talking about. And if you have any questions, contact your field school director directly because they have the firsthand, very fast and accurate information, or us, ISS. Then if you are not sure who to contact, and you're welcome to just contact ISS so that we can direct you. So I'm sure that Colin will type his email in the chat box, and we will have it later in our slide so that you can write it down. So the email is fieldschools@sfu.ca, and we can point you at the right direction. All right. So any questions so far? You can feel free to type in the chat box and we can just answer them at the end. And then I will pass it on to Colin to continue to talk about the costs. Colin?
Yep. All right. My screen share is working?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Please mute yourself, June, because I can hear myself echoing. All right.
We're good here.
Yeah. So we know a lot of you are wondering what it costs to go on a field school. So I'll take the time to kind of address this and highlight some of the funding options. So something I do want to point out just to start is there is no application fee, and these fees will only apply if you are accepted and confirmed into the program. So as mentioned, field schools are SFU courses and thus tuition is charged. And the tuition rate that you pay varies based on your background. So for domestic undergraduate students, you're probably familiar, it's roughly around $200 per unit. For international undergraduate students, you're looking at around between $900 and $1,000 per unit, depending on when you started your studies. If you're an SFU graduate student, taking the course outside of your subject area, or a non-degree student, you're looking at about $300 per unit. Or if you're an SFU graduate student and the course is in your subject area, you'll pay your normal per term or continuing fee depending on where you're at. So for graduate students, we really do recommend that you connect with your department prior to applying to discuss tuition arrangements. The other category of students is some students may come from a Western Dean's Agreement institution, and in that case, you would pay tuition to your home university at the usual rate. So the next item is SFU's activity fees. So these are university charged fees, around $80 for undergraduate students or $40 for graduate students. And just as a note, if you are taking additional SFU courses during the term, you may be charged the full-time rate, which is approximately double, and some other fees, including the UPass and recreation and athletics. The next item is our administrative fee of $150 and the program fee. So what this program fee covers varies, but in general, they all cover shared accommodation and support in preparing, for your field school being in field and re-entry, and they all cover group meals to some extent, some to all of your in-country transport and field trips. And you'll notice on each of these program pages that the number is posted as a range. And this is because the final cost is based on the total number of students, but it will never cost higher than the highest number listed on that page. And just some other costs to consider that are not included in the program fees or any of the other above fees are an international flight, which you will have to book yourself. And as June already mentioned, please do not book these prior to the date that we tell you to in case the program does not end up proceeding. Each of the program pages also includes an estimated amount you should budget for food and transport, but do treat this as a guideline. You may eat more, you may want to eat fancier foods, so you may need more or less. Otherwise, just consider things like your cell phone or a prepaid plan, whether you'll need to pay for any vaccinations or a visa based on your citizenship. And if you're not covered by SFU's SFSS or GSS plan, you will need to have travel insurance for the period of the field school if you do not already. And I do also just want to iterate that this is not a comprehensive list, but a guideline just to get you thinking. And as for when these fees are due, the tuition and the student activity fees, so those first two items are due in mid-May, and the field school program fee would be paid by June 27th, all directly to SFU. Right, and I know that may seem a little bit overwhelming to throw all these costs at you all at once, but we do really not want there to be any surprises. Luckily, we do have plenty of funding opportunities available. So for full-time domestic students, so if you're enrolled in a term of 9 or more units or a full-time program, you are eligible to apply for student loans. For non-Canadian citizens visiting students, we definitely recommend checking in with your home institution to see what you may be eligible for. Also, for full-time degree seeking SFU students, you can apply for bursaries, scholarships, awards, and also international exchange and field school bursaries. So this includes the Suite of Study Abroad Awards, which is awards at $1,000 to $2,000 and embedded right in the program application. And that suite I just mentioned is specific to study abroad, so definitely take advantage. They're not based on your grades at all, and the questions really surround your intercultural experience and what benefits it provides. Just to be clear as well, visiting students are not eligible for the Suite of Study Abroad Awards. We also strongly recommend that you're looking into some of the external options that are available. Just do a quick search online. And for more information on funding your trip, definitely do visit our Study Abroad funding webpage. Lots of great stuff on there, resources to check out, and you can search some options. So I'm not going to go in detail over this slide because it really just highlights what I was talking about, and it shows the different types of funding options that are available to students from different backgrounds. It is on that study abroad funding page as well. So yeah, just to highlight. Right, and another thing we do recommend for everybody, even visiting students, is do connect with SFU's financial aid and awards. They offer Zoom, phone, and in-person advising on all 3 campuses. You can see their hours and their phone numbers listed. And they're really great people. They can help you with finding awards, work you through helping with a budget and a lot of other stuff. But you can also visit from your home institution as well. So take advantage, they are there to help. All right, so I'm going to actually now walk through the application procedure and what you'll need to prepare for this. So when you enter the study abroad system, you'll be entered onto this very general page. So if this is your first time on the page, you'll need to register now. So once you click on register now, there will be a pop-up. You just have to click yes on it. And then it's pretty standard, create an account, fill out the information as requested. If you already have an account, then just log in. Say you applied to an exchange, you'll already have an account, so just log in. And yeah, make sure you are using that student login. There's a manager login. You don't need to worry about that. All right. And the next step would be to actually find the programs. Two main places to do so are on our programs website. If you just Google SFU Field School programs, you'll find it. Otherwise, within the study abroad system, in this top bar, there is a button to search programs, and then you can filter by type of program, field school, and then you'll get that whole list of field schools. And at the bottom of each of these program pages, you'll find the button to apply. And yeah, I'll show you what that system looks like. So it is a pretty old looking system, but it does show you all the sections that you'll need to be completing, and I'll go over these in a bit more detail. Something I do want to highlight, this sentence here is in red for very good reason, because you do need to save as you go. Because if you do not click save, you'll lose all of the progress that you've done. And you must fill out all of the pieces on a section before you can save. So anything that has this red asterisk beside it, you'll need to have it uploaded before you can save. Yeah. Otherwise, sorry, that scrolled way too fast. So another thing is you don't have to do the application all in one. So say you get interrupted or you don't feel like doing the entire application in one sitting, you can return to it by logging in to your account that you created. In this top bar, there's a button called My Application. And then you'll see results, how many applications you have, and you can click on View Full Application to go back to your existing application. Please, please, please do not create a new application. One, because your information from a previous one will not carry over. Two, because sometimes I see 5 applications to the same program from one student, and that makes it really hard to figure out which one is going to be completed. So please avoid doing that. And if you do create a duplicate, you can withdraw it just by clicking on withdraw. Also, if you have duplicate applications, you'll get multiple emails every time I email you. So yeah. Otherwise, the steps in the application. So everything in the application is submitted virtually with the exception of the waiver form. And I'll do a very high level overview of each one of these. The first thing you'll need to do is, well, check whether your program needs an academic reference. Right at the top of each program page, it mentions this. So if you do need a reference, make sure to contact them as early as possible. So your reference should be a professor or a grad level student who has taught you. And my biggest recommendation is to pick one from a class you did well in, can speak to your strengths, and ideally who knows you well. And when you're asking them to be your referee, so we strongly suggest you give them your current transcript, resume, and just tell them why you're wanting to go on this field school so that they can really frame that in their responses. And just a note, it's not a letter that we're asking for, but a form that they fill out asking questions such as how long they've known you, how they know you, how relevant it is to your career, and just an overall rating of how suitable you would be. Otherwise, the next step is to fill out your academic and personal documents, or academic and program documents, sorry. So we will need, for current SFU students, your most recent advising transcript. So not your official one, not your unofficial one, but the advising one. It just shows us more information. For visiting students, we will need a scan of your most recent official transcript in order to be able to admit you as an SFU student. And we also recommend that you include unofficial transcripts from previous institutions if you have them. And if you do have multiple transcripts, just merge them all into one PDF. The next 2 documents are the acknowledgement and refund policies. So make sure you do follow the instructions carefully here because the way that these get filled out is particular. So what that means is you've read it, you sign it. If you printed it, then you're scanning it. And if you are under the age of 19, when you sign, you will have to get your parent or guardian to also sign. As for what these documents actually are, the acknowledgement, it outlines your responsibilities and terms of participation, and the refund policy outlines your costs and what can be refunded at what point. We really do want you to understand these. So if you have any questions, please do email us. And finally, there's the waiver, which is your only document that is submitted in hard copy. And I cannot stress this enough. The requirements for how this is filled out or even printed is very, very rigid. So it must be an original hard copy, printed in full color, signed in ink, printed on 8.5 by 11 paper, and have all sections completed. If even one of these is not done correctly, say it's printed in black and white, we unfortunately can't accept it and would need an entire new one. So that's why I ask that you please email me a scan or a clear photo before submitting if you're unsure if you did it correctly, or if you're going to be sending it through letter mail, please do this regardless. And a change that we did make recently is these are now due on February 15th. We recognize with the shift to remote learning for current students that 1 week is not a lot of time to get it in. But if you are mailing, please do send it by January 31st, as we would like it to arrive on time. Yeah. So the next documents will be your personal documents and information. This section should be a lot easier than the previous one. So you'll need to upload your resume. So it's a standard 1 to 2 page resume, same or similar to the one you use for a job application. If you're applying to Indonesia, you'll also need a letter of intent. And then we'll also need a scanned copy of the photo page of your passport. So your passport must be valid for the period of the field school and 6 months afterwards. And if you don't have one, or it's expired or expiring before your program, we would ask you to upload a receipt of your renewal application or just a document telling us when you'll be applying for a new one. And for NATO applicants, it must be from a Canada or NATO member country because of security clearance requirements. We also ask for a photograph. Honestly, a selfie is fine. Just make sure you have a nice clear background behind you. You're not wearing hats or sunglasses, and only you're in the photo. Yeah, it doesn't need to be any professional headshot or anything. Just grab your camera and take a picture. Otherwise, for medical insurance, it's just 2 check boxes. We'll need you to confirm you will have both primary and secondary medical insurance for your field school, and that includes your travel medical insurance. Otherwise, we're asking for 1 emergency contact, so somebody that we can reach in case of, as you can guess, an emergency. And otherwise, if you anticipate somebody will be asking about your field school program and you want them to have access to your information, we will require permission before we release that information. And the final mandatory section is the statement of interest. So we ask you 2 short questions under 250 words, so nothing major or long, just asking you why you decided to apply and how you prepare and adapt to new and challenging situations. So that's just typed right into the system. You don't need to do a whole document, format it, just right in the system. And the next thing that comes in the system is the Suite of Study Abroad Awards that I mentioned earlier. These are optional to apply for by current full-time SFU students in full-time programs. And yeah, I do strongly recommend that you apply because they're particular to study abroad. Otherwise, Section 8 is just referral information. We like to know how you heard about the program. We want to know if you heard about us on social media or it was an email or direct outreach, because it helps us know for the future what works. Okay. And finally, we know a lot of you here are not current SFU students, and we do tend to get a lot of questions on this process. So to clarify, you'll have to submit 2 applications to a field school if you're a visiting student, and both are due on the same day or by the deadline. So first is the field school application. So this is specific to the program you are applying to. So for example, if you're applying to NATO, you would submit an application to the NATO field school program. And then we also need you to fill out a visiting student for SFU field school application. That's a lot of words, but that's what it's called. And this is what facilitates your admission into SFU. And just as a note, you would be admitted as an SFU student for the term of the field school if you are accepted and confirmed into the program sometime around early March. Otherwise, for all visiting students, we really suggest you to speak with your home university and academic advisor prior to applying to the field school and obtain a letter of permission or whatever your institution's equivalent is, just to help have your credits transfer back. Because ideally you can use these at your home institution, but you don't need to submit this letter of permission to us. That's entirely for you. Otherwise, we will provide you with an official transcript, or rather you can order an official transcript from SFU at the end of your program once the grades are released. And I do just want to note again, visiting students unfortunately are not available for the suite of study abroad awards. Otherwise, applications are due on January 31st. And just make sure you plan enough time to fill out the application. It may seem like it's a long time away, or it may not, but we do definitely encourage you to submit early, get your references in order, and start thinking through as early as you can. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much the end of the formal part, but definitely do visit our programs page to see the list of programs that we have, connect with your advisors. If you're wanting to know more about the programs, we are doing breakout sessions in a few minutes here, but you can always email the field school directors. Their contact information is listed on each program page. And yeah, really get started on your applications. And if you have any questions, email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, we do have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And yeah, get ready.